Go ahead, Susan. Go ahead, Susan. Susan, if you could ring the chime. Good morning.
Morning.
Welcome both in the sanctuary and online to the October 2nd Sunday service of the Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Petersburg. My name is Reverend Ben Atherton Zeman, and this is Lufa, who hates being carried, so bring her down. I'm excited to bring you today's worship service, Blessing of the Animals, on behalf of Lufa and myself, and of course, on behalf of our worship associate, Susan Bernor and Charlie.
Yes. Today is my favorite Sunday of the year, with the whole family here instead of just the humans. Like Ben said, this is Charlie. He happens to be the best dog in the world. His best friend, a kitty cat named Joe Biden, chose to stay home today and watch cat videos, but his picture is right down here. If you're wondering about Unitarian Universalism, it's this. We are a people of many beliefs, but we share a common faith, the faith that what we do in this world matters, and that we are connected to one another and to the planet. Whoever you are, whatever species you are, wherever you are in your journey, you are welcome here. I have a few announcements, and you can also check our website as well as the printed program. First, we had a good response to the Covenant Group sign-up last week, but if you didn't get a chance to do it and you're still interested, just see the table that we'll have set up here right after the service. You can also sign up a sheet saying, none of these covenant groups work for me in terms of the time, and we'll try and accommodate you. Second, there's a great opportunity for all of us this coming Saturday. An internationally known classical guitarist, Charles Mokotov, will present a free concert right here in the sanctuary Saturday at 7. We'll pass a hat with pay as you can, and all the proceeds will be kept for the church because Mr. Mokotov is doing this for free just for the church. It's a win-win. All we need to make it happen is for you to show up, and I need 5 volunteers just to help at the door and with collecting money. So if you could see me after the service and volunteer, I'd really appreciate it. Please check your program and the website, as I said, for more information.
All right, great. Thank you, Susan. We're online still? Yes, we are. Well, I want to give a special welcome to those of you who are tuning in from the Unitarian Universalist Church of Venice, Florida. Hi, everyone. We're sending you love, and we hope that you regain power to your church and to your homes soon. In the meantime, it's an honor to host you, at least virtually. Also, a special welcome to any newcomers. If you want a church where we believe in democratic principles, this is especially important right now, a month before elections, and where we believe in climate science, especially after hurricanes. I have good news. You may have found your church home. And if you are new, can you give a wave if you just joined or you're joining us for the first day? A few tentative waves here. And if anyone has not done this before and wants to say something, say, hi, my name is so-and-so, and this and that, you are more than welcome to do it now. Please speak loudly, and I will repeat the words if I can hear them so that they can hear you online. Who's willing to introduce themselves? I always give a second because it's always hard being the first one who talks, but then there's an avalanche afterwards. But I'm not seeing any hands.
I think I just saw one.
I don't, oh, hey.
My name is Jerry Browning. I live in Ohio full-time and part-time down here. This is my first time here.
Jerry Browning from Ohio, welcome. It's good to have you for the first time. Much for that avalanche theory. Kelly Elson and James Mack are live streaming today. Our greeters are Linda Paul, Peter Elam, Carol Ulmer, and Patty Kane Wood. Let's take a moment to, there she is, Carol Ulmer, doing a dance. Let's take a moment to greet our neighbors, and remember to ask if you want to shake their hand or hug or anything like that.
Ask.
I'll take it back from you.
Okay. I hate it.
Yes.
Are we going to ring the chime? That's great. So glad to see everyone. Our flaming chalice is the symbol of Unitarian Universalism. It is a symbol of hope, the sacred, the quest for truth, the warmth of community, the light of reason, and so much more. While Ben lights our chalice, I invite you to say our covenant out loud. The words can be found in the text chat or in your your printed program. Feel free to follow along with the two hand movements. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Now, please rise as you're willing and able for our first hymn, Our World is One World. It's number 134 in the gray hymnal.
Touches one affects us all. The seas that wash us round about, the clouds that cover us, the rains that fall. Our world is one world. The thoughts we think affect us all. The way we build our attitudes with love or hate we make a bridge or wall. Our world is one world. Its ways of wealth affect us all. The way we spend, the way we share, who are the rich or poor, who stand or fall. Our world is one world, just like a ship that bears us all, where fear and greed make many roads, but where our hearts can hear a different call.
Please be seated. Today is Animal Sunday, and we thought we'd give a bit of attention to three categories of animals. Those in our homes, like those we've invited here today. Those in our farms, I'll turn some attention to them during the reflection. And those in the wild. For our first reading, this poem from Wendell Berry talks about those animals in the wild and a little of what we can learn from them. After a week of such chaos and catastrophic loss for our neighbors, especially to the south, I find these words particularly helpful. It's called The Peace of Wild Things. When despair grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives might be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting for their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free.
Thanks so much, Susan. Now we come to the time in our worship service for joys, sorrows, and concerns. And for those of you online, please feel free to type your joys and sorrows into the text chat. If you have a joy, sorrow, or concern to submit via the card, several of you have already done so. If you have one and it still needs picking up, wave it frantically in the air and hopefully someone will bring it up, or you can bring it up. I think we have different versions of the ones that were submitted online, because I got some this morning. So I'm going to give you this final one that was submitted to me right now. Yours starts with Kelly
McGraw. The first one is a stone of concern from Kelly McGraw. Her cat, Mr. Boots, escaped his carrier as they were evacuating. It's my greatest fear, too. He has been seen in Kelly's neighborhood, but has yet to return home.
A concern from Aaron Joseph for those south of us who are experiencing huge losses of property, and that includes those tuning in from Venice. We hope that all their lives were at least saved.
I have a request from John Motter. It's a stone of joy, wishing Bill Motter a happy 65th birthday, also known as Medicare Day. Yay. We're also very grateful that Bill has survived having his appendix out just before the hurricane. Grateful he was able to get into St. Anthony's just in time, and he's now home recuperating.
And that brings to the total the stones that we have already put into the water. Would anyone be willing to put the rest of, thanks, I appreciate it, Joanne. Joanne will now put the rest of the stones in the water, including this one, a stone of joy from, thank you, from this next one, from here on, thank you. Our next one is a stone of joy, thanks Joanne, from Sabina von Alloch for our Friday Sunset Supper volunteers who came together and served our guests pizza and soda dinner with trimmings. There was much happiness and gratitude in the playground. I got to see the beginning of this. And then there is a second stone from her of concern, along with much love to those who are still without power.
A stone of sorrow from Trish Birch. Her sister Pam lives in Venice, and her house, Venice, Florida, and her house was severely damaged by the hurricane. A second stone of joy, since she was staying with Trish at the time, and she is safe.
The next stone of concern is from me, but I've shared this, and Kelly and I have had conversations. A lot of us are just exhausted. Whether we relocated or not, this is just a lot of not just physical exhaustion, but emotional exhaustion from the stress. So let's do our best to take care of one another, starting with ourselves.
A stone of joy from Rebecca Wilson. During this week of Hurricane Ia, we as a community, that is our church community, checked in with nearly 100% of our members and confirmed that everyone is okay. We used Facebook, email, text, and phone calls. Everyone was happy that we reached out. If you haven't checked in with someone at church, go ahead and call someone. This is how we build community.
A stone of concern from Thorne Taylor. Now, Thorne and his husband Tucker evacuated to West Palm Beach, whereupon Tucker was brought to the hospital and may need a stent replacement. So he's, I believe, still there in the hospital. I think you're watching online. We're sending you our love.
A stone of concern from Sula Donola. Sula, if you would hold up your hand. She needs help with WhatsApp. Like, who doesn't? It drives me crazy too. But she's really having trouble with it, and it's important because it's how she stays in touch with her family. So if anyone can help her with that, please see her afterward. She's willing to pay for professional help if that's what it takes.
Great. A stone, again from me, of concern. I have many friends in Nepal who are struggling with dengue fever. They have a dengue fever epidemic. And my friend Sadiksha Thapa, who just had a baby, she and the baby don't have it, but the rest of her family do. So she's trying to stay healthy while also supporting her family. And Sadiksha, if you're watching, blessings on you and your family in Kathmandu, and I'll see you in a month.
This is from Chris McDonald, a stone of joy. My cousin and a high school friend survived the hurricane despite being at ground zero when it hit.
A stone of joy from Virginia and Cal. Virginia says, my sister Carolyn, who's home on a lake near Ann Arbor, Michigan, had 2 trees fall in a lake storm. Her entire 4-bedroom house must be rebuilt. And that is a stone of joy because she's okay? Okay, it's because she's alive.
A stone of joy from Anne, whose daughter Kaylee is celebrating a birthday.
I'll have.
I've got a few more.
All right.
Here's one from Alan Nitzman, a stone of concern. My friends Gail and Frank have had some medical issues. She had a mild heart attack and Frank's has pneumonia. Both are on the mend. This one is just for the U.S. that we're concerned about gun control and on a macro level, climate change. And finally, a stone of joy from John Arterton and James Mack, and I joined them. We are so happy that Jane and Mason are back.
Woo! Welcome back, Mason. Welcome back, Jane. So may we bring to mind and hold close to our hearts all those, Sadiksha and her family, Thorne and Tucker, Bill Motter, Kelly DeGraw, and everyone, those known and unknown to us who are facing health concerns, property concerns. May we also continue to work for universal health care in this nation, and I'll say also in Nepal and throughout the world, so that no one need worry about the financial burden in receiving needed health care. May all who are facing challenges known and unknown find a comforting presence in the warmth of fellowship and community, both here and online. Let's place a final stone for those joys and sorrows that remain in our hearts, perhaps too tender to be shared out loud. And let's take a moment of silence together. The mystery is that we are connected even when we feel apart. So let us rejoice in our beloved community that makes of the many one. So may it be. Now, this is an all-ages service, so the children will not be going to their classrooms, but we could use some help handing out our gift bags to the animals that come forward to be blessed. So would any of the kids...
Gigi and Asher.
Yeah?
I think Gigi and Asher said they would come and
Oh,
help.
thanks. Come on up. Thanks so much for coming up.
Right.
It brings me so much joy to see my
Oh,
dog
here
in the
comes-
second
here
row.
co- Oh, what a
Actually,
special
looking at me.
outfit. I think it's an animal for Animal Sunday.
All right.
One of the most important animals. Hi.
You want to tell them what they're doing, and then am I
Welcome.
telling?
Yep. We're going to talk to them just a minute. Are you all ready, Caitlin? Sure. Well, before the pet parade, I want to ask you a riddle. Now, I asked the congregation last year, and you didn't get it, but maybe you will remember it this year. Are you ready? Okay. This question is attributed to President Abraham Lincoln, who really loved animals, especially dogs. First, let's be sure of one thing. How many legs does a dog have? 4, like Charlie. Usually a dog has 4 legs. Now,
Mine has 3.
yes, sometimes one has 3. But usually a dog has 4 legs, right? Now, let's say we call his tail a leg. Now, how many legs does he have?
5.
What did she say? 5. What do you think? 4? He only has 4. Just because you call it a leg doesn't make it a leg, it's still a tail. You know, we might think about when we're talking about declassifying things just by saying it. No, that's not the way it works. So, still has 4 legs. Dogs know about that, we should all remember it. So now let's get ready for the parade. Everyone with a pet here, or if you have a picture of your pet, or if you just want to lift up your pet's name as part of the parade, please line up over here on this side of the sanctuary. Yep, they're going to help. And then you can walk around this way. We'll ask you to come to the microphone. We'll ask you to come to the microphone and introduce your pet. And then, yeah, okay, you'll see. Hi.
Cool.
Oh, great. So then we ask you to walk all the way down the center aisle so everybody can see you, and then go back to your seats on the side. Okay?
Very cool.
Okay.
So
We
before
got-
we're about to start the parade, thank you all for lining up. And before that, I want to offer a few words that Susan found to express our gratitude for the many ways our animals enrich our lives. So I invite you to enter into a spirit of prayer or meditation, whichever befits your particular style of worship. Surrounded by the animals we most love, we remember with gratitude the pets, protectors, and animal companions who have blessed our lives. We give thanks for our childhood pets who showed us love and devotion, for our children's pets who have helped us teach responsibility and relationship, and for the pets who brighten our days and comfort our nights. Let us remember that we live and work and love among animals. May we love them and care for them and protect them from harm. We declare our love and gratitude for them, and may that compassion extend to all living creatures. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be. And for each animal, once you'll be invited to introduce your animal, I will give them a much shorter blessing, and then they will get their prize that Susan has brought for them.
Right. And the prize has something for a cat, something for a dog, a snack for a person, and a couple of jokes. So be sure and grab one. I'll start. Yeah. Okay. I'll get started, even though I'm not going to. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Okay, I'll start with introducing again my dog Charlie. Charlie is 10 years old. I've had him for 7 years. His cat, Kitty Joe Biden, didn't come today because he would hate it. But we've had him for 2 years, and Charlie and I love him very much. So.
Then their bag will be behind you.
Okay. So.
So this is Baxter. He's 8.5. I've had him for 7, and he's best friend.
All right, let's go ahead here. I say blessings on you,
Children.
Baxter. Thank you for blessing us. And then you get parade down the middle.
You know Frankie. This is Frankie. He's 7 months old. He's a Maltese, and I've had him for 4 months.
Beautiful.
Around here. I say blessings on you, Frankie, and thank you for blessing us.
We can come on up.
Parade down the middle.
This is Maybelline. She's 3.5. Some of you know she's an athlete. She competes in agility, and she's also very beautiful, I think.
Blessings on you, and thank you for blessing us.
This is Molly and Poppy. And this was painted by a dear friend of ours. And they're the 2 best dogs in the world, by the way.
Blessings on you both, and thank you for blessing us.
Thank you.
This is Mia and Munchie. They're both rescue dachshunds, and Munchie's 10, and Mia's, we're not sure, but 16 or 17, and not doing that well at the moment.
Blessings on you, Mia and Monkey, and
This is Anastasia, my 2-year-old gray tabby.
Anastasia, blessings on you, and thank you for blessing us.
Thank you.
This is Caesar. He's an African gray parrot. He's 15 and he's a teenager. He acts like it. We've had him for 15 years. Want to blow your nose? Anyway, he's been a bad bird. Look, he's been chewing on his name tag. He comes to meditation sometimes. What do you got for a bird?
For a bird, I love it. Here, see Daddy. This is Lufa. We've had her for 12 and a half years. And her birthday is April 1st, and Ben and I met in a comedy troupe, so we knew she was meant for us.
These are Callie and Milo. They're 11 years old, and I brought them home when they were about 2 months old.
This is Nugget. She's 6 years old. She's a Shih Tzu Chihuahua mix. Yeah, she's my little rat dog.
This is Bonnie. She's 8 years old. Yes.
Give it to Bonnie. There we go.
This is Bubba. He is reputed to be a Shawini, dachshund with a Chihuahua ears. And I adopted him almost 2 years ago at Alaqua Animal Rescue out in the Western Panhandle. And he's becoming very, very friendly. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, this is Taco. Taco's about 4 years old, and we've had him for most of that time. And then our little friend Martella has been with my daughter Caitlin since she was 3.
Blessings on you, Taco. Thank you for blessing us.
This is Jingle. She's a rescue. We don't know exactly when her birthday is, but she's about 8 years old. She's a super talker, very noisy, and very friendly, as you say.
Oops, lost it. Hit my nose away. Okay, if you squint, you can see Bodie. Bodie is a 14-year-old Maine Coon cat. And
Blessings on you, Bodie, and thank you for blessing us. We have closing words, and I can thank you. You guys did great.
Thank you. You were such good helpers. Thank you, everyone, for the parade. We really loved it. At the end of the service, if you'd like to gather out on the front steps, everyone with an animal, or just anyone who wants a really great photo op, we'll gather out there and take a few pictures, which will be great. Thank you.
Next, we have our anthem by John and James. And Aaron, sorry.
Thank you.
And Aaron. Also.
It's been a mean, cruel season. It's been crazy, crazy hard. And for no good reason, my universe has come apart. I've been so uneasy, and I'm trying not to burn, 'cause I know that it's kindness that we're all here to learn. And I still believe heart, I'm nothing at all. Some days I don't get up, go out of my room. I'm so broken-hearted, I don't even know how to put my clothes together, to put one shoe on, to lace up those strings and open the door and carry on. But I still believe in kindness, and I still believe in love. I know the power of a gentle touch when the going gets rough. I will not be bitter, I will not be small, 'cause if I choose to harden my heart, I'm nothing at all. And I still believe in kindness, and I still believe in love. 'Cause if I choose to harden my heart, I'm nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to have you two back also. As I said before, this is my favorite Sunday of the year. I love having my dog with me. I love seeing everyone else's pets. It was so nice to see a bird, wasn't it? I know one year I was here and the people behind me had a dog, a cat, and a chicken. I loved it. If you know me, you know that I literally cannot see a dog just on the street, here, anywhere, without feeling a little better, feeling a little lift in my heart. I'm so grateful to Reverend Ben for asking me to think a little about the roles that animals play in our lives, especially as Unitarian Universalists. Abraham Lincoln was neither a Unitarian nor a Universalist, as far as we can tell, but he made a challenge to religion that rings pretty true for this UU. He said, "I care not for anyone's religion whose dog or cat is not the better for it." Let me say that again. I care not for anyone's religion whose dog or cat is not the better for it. I'm struck by what a noble and succinct yardstick that is for evaluating a religion. How does our faith, Unitarian Universalism, stack up against it? Does being a UU make us better stewards of the animals in our lives and in the world? 3 areas I want to look at: in our homes, in the wild, and on our farms. We've had the pet parade today already to celebrate the animals in our homes, and what an obvious pleasure it is to see them. I want to share a short poem from Mary Oliver, everyone's favorite UU poet. Her poem, Little Dog's Rhapsody in the Night, expresses the special love between the writer and her little dog, Percy. He puts his cheek against mine and makes small, expressive sounds. And when I'm awake, or awake enough, he turns upside down, his forepaws up in the air, and his eyes dark and fervent. "Tell me you love me," he says. "Tell me again." Could there be a sweeter arrangement? Over and over he gets to ask, I get to tell. Sharing love with an animal doesn't mean you have to have a pet in your house. Just a tiny encounter can lead to affection and caring. Here's an excerpt from a story by Troy Chapman. He's a prisoner at a prison in Michigan, serving a very long sentence for second-degree murder. He wrote in his blog, When the scruffy orange cat showed up in the prison yard, I hadn't touched a cat or a dog in over 20 years. I spent at least 20 minutes crouched down by the dumpster behind the kitchen as the cat luxuriated beneath my attention. It was an amazing bit of grace to feel him under my hand and to know that I was enriching the life of another creature with something so simple. Over the next few days, I watched other prisoners responding to the cat. They stood around talking and laughing and taking turns petting the cat. Bowls of milk and water appeared, along with bread. People said, "That cat came to the right place. He's getting treated like a king." This was true, but as I watched, I was also thinking about what the cat was doing for us. After more than 2 decades here, I know that kindness is not a value that's encouraged. I think what we really need in prisons is a chance to practice kindness ourselves, not just receive it, but give it. I believe that caring for someone or someone in need is what makes us human. That's what the song was about, John and James did. Drop that. Now, not all are cut out to be pet owners at all, and not all are in a position to own a pet. But seeing the love between pets and their owners is easy to understand and to appreciate. But does being a UU make me a better pet owner? Is my dog or cat the better for my religion? Does it meet Abraham Lincoln's test? Well, I've got to tell you, I was a pretty good pet owner before I was a Unitarian. People have said that if they are reincarnated, they would like to come back as my dog, and it would be a pretty soft life. I think there's more for us to think about in the other 2 categories of animals that I've included today, those in the wild and those on our farms. For the wild, the poem I read earlier by Wendell Berry includes the beautiful line, "I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty." Is there anything more restorative than time spent in nature? I guess we can leave Hurricane Ian out of that part of nature, but in general, the best thing to restore our spirits. My friends will be amazed to hear that I was up for a sunrise not long ago. I posted a picture of it on Facebook, and 2 people who don't even know one another shared comments back and forth about how they were sure I was lying. But I did do it, and I was rewarded by a lone manatee slowly making her way across the bay. So massive, so quiet, so humble in some way. It reminded me that for all of the development right up to the edge of that seawall, just one step out into the water puts you into a wilderness. The animals just below that surface are just as wild as those 1,000 miles out to sea. The world is not ours alone. But from the World Wildlife Fund, this statistic, the rapid loss of species we are seeing today is between 1,000 and 10,000 times higher than the natural extinction rate. And unlike the mass extinction events of geological history, the current one is one for which a single species, ours, appears to be almost wholly responsible. How many of you have lived in Florida more than 30 years? Off and on or whatever. Then you, like I, might remember what we used to call love bug season. When you couldn't drive on the highway for more than an hour without stopping to clear off the bugs from your windshield. Not anymore. When every lake or water retention pond, even in the middle of a subdivision, had so many frogs that you could hardly sleep at night with the windows open because of the racket. Not anymore. We might argue with the WWF statistics That range of between 1,000 and 10,000 is pretty ridiculous, actually. But we can't deny our own observations. The world is getting quieter, less colorful, less biologically diverse, and humans are responsible in two meanings of that word. First, we're responsible in that our actions have resulted in loss of habitat and in climate change. And we're responsible in that we are the dominant species in many ways, and it is our duty to take care of the others. It is the ultimate, most natural noblesse oblige. We are privileged as human beings to be dominant, and with that privilege comes responsibility. For me, the clearest test of whether our UU faith can stand up to Lincoln's yardstick is not being good to our pets. It's not appreciating wild animals. It's being aware of what happens on our farms. Perhaps more familiar than Lincoln's quote is this one from Mahatma Gandhi. He said, the greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated. He went on to say, I hold that the more helpless a creature, the more entitled it is to protection from the cruelty of humankind. It is said that being a moral person is about making moral decisions, big ones and small ones. Should I support charities or spend all the money on myself? Should I keep my promises or do whatever I feel like? Decisions like that face us occasionally, maybe rarely. But we all make some decisions every single day that are moral decisions, even if we don't think about them that way. And those decisions, my friends, I am afraid to say, are about what we eat. It's the third rail. There is nothing more intimate than the relationship of what we eat and what we are. I'm not going to give even one example, don't worry, about factory farms. My Lord, the children are here. You've all read the stories. And I'm not advocating that everyone become a vegetarian. I can't resist a hot dog at the ball game or an occasional ribeye. But on this day, when we honor and appreciate the animals in our lives, I think we should at least acknowledge the gift of food that many of them give us, and acknowledge that we owe them something in return, gratitude at the very least, and some kind of effort to have them treated humanely, some resistance to the mistreatment committed to make them just a little bit tastier, just a little more tender, just a little more profitable. Even the most conservative writers are realizing the moral challenge of the American diet, which is spreading to the rest of the world. Charles Krauthammer, now who thought I would ever quote him, wrote that when future generations look back on practices that are then found to be abominable, it will be our treatment of animals that they single out for condemnation. Author Matthew Scully writes, animals are more than ever a test of our character, of humankind's capacity for empathy and for decent, honorable conduct. We're called to treat them with kindness, not because they have rights or power or some claim to equality, but because they don't. Our seventh principle says it so clearly. We affirm and promote respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. My own 5-word religion, my philosophy, my politics, we're all in this together. You, me, Charlie, Lufa, the white rhinoceros, the red panda, the manatee, the calf, the chicken, the honeybee, the spider in our corners. May we make Unitarian Universalism a religion that Abraham Lincoln could respect. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you so much, Susan. I am so glad you said yes to my request. That is perfect. Thank you so much. And now let us remember and continue to remember our connection with one another, and let us not forget our contributions to support the means to those connections. This Sunday is Social Justice Share the Plate Sunday, where half of the non-pledge contributions placed in the offering plate will go to support the operation of this church, and the other half goes to a social justice program. So today, our support goes to help refugees in Southwest Florida displaced by Hurricane Ian. The Pinellas Coalition for Immigration Justice has asked us to send our contributions through Lutheran Services Florida, their funded refugee services provider. So if you're writing a check, still make it out to UU St. Pete, but write refugee support in the memo line. Your generosity is appreciated. In the sanctuary, our ushers will now pass the offering bowls. Thank you, ushers. If you are a newcomer here, though, please refrain from making a donation. This service is our gift to you, and your presence is your gift to us. The offering will now be given and received.
Thank you for being here today. I again invite you, with or without a pet, to gather on the front steps after the service for a great photo op. Please let those waiting to be in the photo leave through the main door, and those who are camera shy can go out the side and beat everyone else to the coffee. Pets are welcome at both places. And please don't forget the concert coming up on Saturday, and to volunteer if you can. For closing words on Animal Sunday, these are from the Sufi poet Rumi and from a quote in The Science of the Mind. Your task is not to seek love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. Beyond the illusion of separation, imagine the faithful energies of a loving cosmos wagging its tail in enthusiastic response to your irreplaceable presence.
Thank you, Susan. I have a second set of closing words. As most of you know, we've just passed Rosh Hashanah, so I leave you with the words of our beloved member who's watching online, Edna Whistler. Thank you for letting me use your words. Teshuvah means return in Hebrew. This time of year, Edna says, in Judaism, from Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur is a reverent time, the start of a new cosmic year, and a sacred opportunity and responsibility for teshuvah, a time literally to return, whether it's return to God, to reverence, to nature, or to our place and connection in it. This reverent, sacred return and returning is what this time of year is about for all Jews. And there are several UU Jews in our congregation that I'm seeing right now. Edna says, I wish you all, pun intended, many happy returns of the day. Now feel free to follow along with the hand gestures as Susan extinguishes our chalice. The words to our traditional chalice extinguishing are in your purple order of service. Online, they are in the text chat. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of love, or the fire of courage. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world. Go in peace. We'll see you for the photo.